Yeah, I like that. All right, up here at the top right of the map is our Terran player. He is a legend.
Oyes, nada.
I'd say no surprise to anyone that he was able to get to the up and down matches after
not at all.
Code A.
He actually looked a little bit shaky in a couple of his Code A rounds at times, but he did manage to come out on top. Will he come out on top over this guy?
MVP Monster.
Monster, he's shown some very good play. He's got pretty good mechanics. We've seen him do very good at macro, but the couple times I've seen him lacking, I don't think he quite has the level of, you know, micro and decision making. Not at the top level that he's going to need to really compete in Code S. Personally, from what I've seen so far, of course, you know, we sometimes see players that look a little shaky and barely get into Code A, and then they know it's their one chance. They practice their heart out, and they can really accomplish a lot. So we're going to see if he's picked up his game, basically, because if he plays the same that he did a couple seasons ago when he first got into Code A, he doesn't stand a chance in this group. If he's picked up his game, he's definitely be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see even there that in that prediction from the fans that he only had about 3% of the votes, and you know the fans know as well. They've seen his games. That they're like, well, I don't know if this guy can really do it, but don't count him out just yet. Obviously, he's been training with the MVP guys for this, training with players like Dongregu, for example, who played extremely well in the Blizzard Cup Finals. I cannot stress enough how much you guys need to go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. A little bit of drone harassment here on Nada's wall off, and he is going to be able to scout that Nada's taking the gas. It's going to be very important for him to know. He's probably going to immediately assume it's a reactor Hellion expand, as it is the trend these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost no reason not to, unless you're going for some sort of a strange strategy. In fact, like sometimes we'll say, oh, this is a standard play. There's not many builds that have been more standard than reactor Hellion expand has been lately. Like, it's so standard that if you don't do it, it's usually almost always for a cheese. It's become such a staple of TVZ play.
Indeed, and look at this, Nada actually going to go Overlord hunting with this barracks, but Monster has learned from some of his Zerg compatriots like Lenok, for example, who's lost several Overlords to this type of play, that you do not put your Overlord here or it will die. And I gotta say, I also really like that Monster's continuing to scout with that drone. So look at that, Nada does not find the Overlord. He's actually lost a lot of production time on that barracks as a result. Command Center does go down, and in fact, he was not able to make a reactor because of that. The drone sees there's no reactor as well, but he's gonna make a reactor probably as soon as that barracks lands. Either way, late reactor because of that barracks was lifted off. Can't make 2 Hellions immediately.
Yeah, that's just going to delay him a little bit there. And always...
Ooh.
What's
in
going
fact,
on?
he's making a starport right now. He's not actually going to make that reactor. He's got something else in mind.
All right, well, there we go.
Reactor does now go down. Just a later reactor. Probably going to see some sort of early dropship type play from Nada. Wants to put some harassment on early. Monster smartly putting down the spine crawler as natural, making sure that no matter what Nada throws at him, he's got that one spine to be safe.
That's become very standard as well to get that spine crawler. Ooh, nice. Cancels the creep tumor so it doesn't get killed off. Keeps that tumor active.
Yeah, very important to continue to do that. Most players do that, but there are a few players out there who haven't quite started adopting that. It's very important to cancel those if you can, especially in the later stages of the game when you have to start a new tumor way out in the middle of the map if you lose all of your main tumors. 2 Hellions now being made for Nada, and it looks like he's actually going to produce Banshees behind this as well. A Banshee, a great unit to have in this matchup. If you even just make one, you can send the Banshees around the map, take over the watchtowers, spot hidden expansions. It's a great unit to have. You can even unlock timing attacks just by having a few Banshees in your composition.
Yeah, very strong thing to have. Not surprised to see Nada doing something a little bit different, you know. Talk about how standard the Reactor Hellion expand is, but Nada is the person that is going to do a little twist on what's standard and make it even better. He is the one person that's smart enough that he can just do that on a regular basis. It's just really amazing to see him, the builds that he's come up with in the past. Of course, you know, Banshees after expand is not completely new. I'm not trying to say he invented or anything like that, but curious to see what kind of timing he has planned out for this. Cloak being upgraded as well.
Yeah, he's getting Cloak, and you know, I have to say, I'm a little bit nervous about this. The lair is way done. He's got Aspire on the way already. Going for this late Cloak is interesting, but I'm not sure if it's really feasible considering that this is just such a late timing for the Cloak. By the time he gets there, a few Mews are going to pop out a few seconds later. He's going to have an Overseer ready to morph, and he should be able to defend these Banshees quite well. He already has 3 Queens out, for example. So this is a pretty big investment for Nada.
This reminds me of his series versus Lucky, actually. If I remember correctly, didn't he go for Banshees against Lucky and it kind of got shut down twice in a row?
So. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he went for like late Banshee play against Lucky, and Lucky just countered it, and Nada just lost 2 games in a row as a result. It was a little bit scary, actually. So a little bit surprised to see him going for something similar here, and the Cloak is going to finish almost the same time as the Spire does.
I mean, he's going to move forward with these Hellions. He may actually do sort of a Hellion Banshee timing attack. Right now, in total, he has 8 Hellions and 2 Banshees, but I don't really think this is going to do that much damage. 4 Banelings morphing for Monster just as a precaution. He doesn't know exactly what's coming right now.
Yeah.
Here come the Banshees into the main. The Queen's already ready. There's an Overseer ready as well, and Nada not going to be able to do a lot of damage. Nice transfuse, and Nada's first Banshee falls. The second one damaged slightly.
Wow. So Nada investing a lot, and accomplishes a grand total of 1 transfusion. Didn't do any significant damage there. Now the Mutas are out, those Banshees are going to be completely useless.
And in fact, the Mutas spot the Banshee. They're probably just going to follow it and kill it.
He's only got 12 energy left on that for Cloak. Is he going to get back in time? Oh, he jukes the other way.
I like that.
As the Mutas are heading towards his main to do harassment.
And there's just enough Marines here to, well, perhaps not. Looks like he is going to clean up these Marines, and this is part of the problem with doing a build like this. Now he's going to be able to kill all the Marines as they pop out, and Nada is in trouble to just the first 8 Mutas.
Wow.
May almost be game ending for Nada as he desperately tries to get these turrets up.
Even just the first 5 Mutas that got in there initially. Yeah, he had so many Hellions early on that they weren't Marines. He had those Banshees that weren't Marines. And now he's got basically nothing here. A single Marine bravely charges down the ramp to his death. And the Hellions are even going to go down, enabling Zerglings to come in here and do extra damage as well. Nada may just lose this game to the initial Mutas.
This is a really unfortunate game for Nada. He went for late Cloak Banshees. They did no damage, and now he's actually just going to lose to the first Muta wave. The medevacs are out. That's going to help significantly here, as well as this turret. I don't think Monster should be committing here. He does have some Banelings joined in now. If he makes just one more round of Banelings and attacks up the ramp, Nada will probably die. Monster has a 3rd base, finishing up right now. He's up 40 supply. As far as the worker count goes, it's 60 to 40. Nada in a tough spot.
Yeah, tough is
a little bit
almost a living understatement, actually. He is in a really bad spot.
He does have 3 command centers, so he can make 3 mules at once. That's going to help him out quite significantly.
True.
You know, it's the best thing he's got going for him. He's making more barracks right now. His economy is okay. I mean, he's a 1-base Terran with mules, 3 command centers. He can make 3 SCVs at a time. So when he does finally break out and feel comfortable to take those expansions, he will have a decent SCV count.
True.
But he is losing a lot of mining time right now.
Yeah, basically what this means is that Nada's just going to have to try and slowly move out, secure his 2nd base, and we're probably going to see him, again, just turtle up, slowly move out and try and take a 3rd, and try and do a big push later on in the game when he's got well over 100 supply, because he knows he can't move out right now. And actually, Monster may not let him wait for that to happen. Charging into the main here, SCV's pulling off. They're going to try and eat some Banelings so the Marines can stay alive to attack the Mutas, but the Banelings land on the Marines! And the Mutas are like, whatever, job done. Let's just go ahead and hang out outside, wait for some more Lings to join up before we go in for the kill.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to go in for that kill now. The Marine count for Nada is 3. 1, 2, 3, and they're going to die pretty quick to these Mutas. SCV is falling as well, and Nada falling apart here. Zerglings killing everything they encounter, and Nada now with a 3rd of the supply of Monster. Monster taking out the starport. And more units rallying across the map right now. Monster looks like this. He's ready for this game to be over, and I think Nada has just... I don't want to say this is a build order loss, but his build order was just not solid, did not account for this possibility of early Spire, and Nada's going to pay for it.
Yeah, he's paying for it indeed. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's just cheesy. Oh, he knows he's going to try and move out and take that expansion again, and he's going to try and... That's almost just cruel. Monster should just run in and end the game right now and get it over with. Nada's at 60 supply to Monster's 150. Monster has almost 3 times the supply. This is
yeah, man,
almost a no-win situation for Nada.
Monster is actually just trying to embarrass him at this point. There's not even any reason for him to be doing it this way, but he's just going to pick off parts of Nada's structures on the side. Nada could never take another base. Meanwhile, Monster's taking the top left base.
I mean, you know, you say when you're ahead, get more ahead, but there comes a point in time when you're just ahead.
Ooh, look at that scan. He does see the Banelings.
Nice.
But Monster still is not too concerned about that, only losing 2 of the Banelings. Now he can make as many Banelings as he wants outside of the base. Looks like Nada has temporarily somewhat reclaimed his natural. He's moving his command center down. At least he feels he's reclaimed it. But here come a ton of mutas. In fact, a total of 24. Just doing as much damage as they can to these production facilities of Nada. Nada cannot afford to lose any units right now. There's too many mutas out here. They do have +1. Nada losing all of his Marines.
Oh man, just to mutas alone, he takes out a barracks. A much needed barracks. The rest of the Marines finally come back here to reinforce. He immediately runs them back down towards the ramp because he knows that there's going to be back and forth attacks. In the meantime, Monster has taken a 4th base. The pathogen glands have just finished for the infestors, which are going to come out here soon. And here comes a lot of lings. He may try and end it again. And again, he's going to fall back and just be content to take out this expansion.
I like how slow and methodical Monster is being here. Nice Baneling hit, damaging a lot of those Marines. And it looks like the command center will fall this time. GG! Monster
GG.
tripled the supply of Nada, taking them out, shutting those Banshees down.
Wow. And yeah, I mean, it really just came down to he spent the money on 2 Banshees, maybe 3. Did he make a 3rd Banshee? I don't remember. He might have
I don't think he made
it.
a 3rd one.
But
he
he
made the
researched
2, and yeah, the cloak.
Research cloak. And that's a lot of money right there. The starport, the tech lab, the cloak, the 2 Banshees, that is a ton of money sunk into that. And it did exactly squat.
Yeah,
Nothing
true.
done. No damage done whatsoever. You know, he didn't even kill a queen. He just damaged a queen.
Yeah.
He forced 1 transfuse. I guess you could say he forced an overseer. But
Yeah.
and then he also didn't have any Marines because the rest of the money he was spending on Hellions. So
And I feel like his build, if he was to do Reactor Hell and Expand, for example, he missed his time on that ever so slightly because he lifted the barracks to kill the potential Overlord, and in fact, then there was not an Overlord there, so just a lot of things went wrong for Nada in that game. He made that, I mean, it's a pretty big commitment to get the late reactor just to kill an Overlord, then of course, when there's no Overlord there, you're like,
yeah. Well, I remember we did see Jockji doing that a lot when he beat Lenok,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's worth it. If you can catch an Overlord that early, I think it's worth delaying your reactor by 15, 20 seconds to kill an Overlord and supply block him at the beginning of the game.
yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. It's just that, you know, players are starting to figure out, okay, if I move my Overlords in a predictable spot, this is going to happen to me.
Which it's kind of ironic because Nada is really kind of one of the first people that we saw doing that too, sending Marines to like random places where the common Overlord scouting paths were and taking them out. And other people kind of caught onto that, and now the Zergs have caught onto that, and now it didn't work for Nada.
I have to say, I was really impressed with the early scout from Monster. He was able to get a lot of information. He even did the extractor cancel trick to keep his drone alive for a long time. He wanted to be absolutely sure what was going on, so I really like his early scout, and also his persistence in scouting, just making sure, okay, are you doing reactor helliness, man? He was able to see the reactor was late. He knew what was going on. You know, he was so safe in everything he did. He made even 4 Banelings before the Banshees came. He was like, all right, it could be some sort of Hellion Marine timing. I've got to be prepared for anything. So he just made those 4 Banelings to be safe. Now we're going to have Huck against Lucky. Lucky, a recent foreigner Protoss killer, taking out Naniwa and Sase in several Code A games in the past. Can he take out Huck as well?
Famously taking out Naniwa twice in 2 successive seasons of Code A. He's just got Naniwa's number, unfortunately. But yeah, he's going to be playing up against Huck. Huck, a very strong Protoss player. You know, Huck, he's been going abroad, and he hasn't been doing as well as, I think, like a month ago or 2 months ago. Huck's been, you know, missing out a little bit, didn't quite do as well as at DreamHack as you'd expect, didn't quite do well at NASL finals as you'd expect. But the thing is he's been actually losing to foreigners for the first time in a while, but only foreign Terrans and Protosses. He has not lost to foreign Zergs. He's still been dominating them, even the likes of Idris. So we're going to see if he can bring it home against Lucky here in match number 3 on Crossfire.
I came across with